Hi, Julie. Welcome to our Digital Spotlight series. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I am absolutely delighted to be joining you, and I believe I'm the first one on this digital spotlight. So, being an Aries, I like that.
You are our
Yes,
very
yeah.
first, very first Digital Spotlight. And I'm really excited to be offering this new service to our community and to our students. So with every interview, I always like asking our guests the same very first question. So I'm going to ask that to you right now.
Okay.
Who is Julie Lewis?
Wow, that's a huge question. I'm Julie Lewis. Julie Lewis is from Yorkshire, is 57 years young, has lived in the Middle East for the last 20 years, with a couple of years in Hong Kong, Asia. Um, Loves this part of the world and is the founder of Mountain High Me and Julie Lewis Consulting, and the author of Moving Mountains. I'm a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a soul sister. Yeah, that that's it.
I love that you brought in
I'm
all
sure
these.
I'm many more things.
I love that you brought in all these different roles that you also play in your professional life. Now, for our digital spotlight, we're going to focus on the career and the professional Julie Lewis.
Sure. Yes.
So, as the owner and founder of Mountain High and the author of Moving Mountains, let's start at what exactly you do and what your role is in both Mountain High and why you wrote Moving Mountains.
It is that, and so that's the internal to the external through people and places. So really through speaking, teaching, writing, retreats and expeditions, that's really the service offerings from Mountain High and Julie Lewis Consulting. So it's really helping people unlock their highest potential, discover um, their skills, their strengths, their potential, basically, and really with a strong focus on spending more time in nature. You know, that's my food and oxygen. So for me, and I think this is very important. I think part of our disconnection from nature is what causes stress. So basically, personal and professional development through speaking, teaching, writing, retreats, and expeditions.
That's
That's
amazing.
yeah.
That's really amazing. So take us back to, where did it all start? What were you doing before this? And what inspired you to start this project?
Basically, my background's in sports science. So initially, after my A levels, and now we're talking 30, 40 years ago, yeah, I studied sports science at university, and I spent 18 years in the health and fitness and sports industry. So I worked in sports centers, health club, managed beach resorts, etc. And a huge change in my personal circumstances when I was around 36. I was widowed. And so I just really did a little bit of a reset then, and went on a journey. And that involved walking around Australia for a few weeks and really just kind of deciding, what do I want to do next? And I kind of wrote down a list of all the things I like doing. I like traveling, I like meeting new people, I like learning new skills, I like being physical because my background was in sports science. And I came back to Dubai, and I met a colleague who used to be a member of a beach club I managed. And he kind of said, well, I thought you'd gone missing in Australia. And I said, no, I'm just kind of sorting out my head and my heart and my next kind of move. And he had a adventure travel company, and they were looking for a business development manager. And I thought, let me give it a go. This would be a great way to learn the ropes in travel, because my background isn't travel, although I'm a huge traveler and explorer. And during that time when I worked for Voyages Extreme, I went on a trip to Malaysia with the tourism board. And on that trip, I saw a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous mountain. And it just was calling to me. I'm going goosebumpy now just when I actually think about that time, because it just had my name all over it. And this was in 2001. And so I asked the guide, how long does it take to climb this mountain? What's the best time to come? And so he said, April's really good. It takes 3 days. It's 4,095 meters. I said, I'm coming back next year to climb that mountain for my 40th birthday. So I managed to persuade 5 people to come along with me. And so on the 7th of April, 2002, my 40th birthday, I found myself on the top of Kota Kinabalu in Malaysia. And I was the usual arms outstretched, joy, elation. I'm on a mountain. I'm on a natural high. And I thought, Mountain High. What a really cool name for an organization that creates these opportunities and experiences for people to travel. It was a whole year later before I had actually the guts to take a leap of faith and start Mountain High. But part of that process was in 2003, took a team of 18 women to Everest Base Camp in Nepal. And I think anybody that goes to Nepal, when you come back, you're transformed in some small way or large way. And some people committed to a relationship, some people left a relationship. I left my job and I started Mountain High in November 2003. So really that's the story of how it all began, really, just realizing that yes, the gym, the squash, the tennis and the aerobic studio have their place, but then there's these mountains and forests and oceans and deserts. And that's where I wanted to go outside and play and take lots of people with me. So yeah, the globe
I love
opened
that.
itself to me. Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's how Mountain High really, really started. And the kind of speaking, teaching, writing came as a result of that, because every time we came back from a trip, we would do a show and tell. So we would kind of show pictures and have stories, what we learned on the trip, what we saw, what we heard, what we felt, what we tasted, and everything. So then I kind of got more into speaking and then running programs on resilience and stress management. So it became really this integrated approach to personal and professional development, with the expeditions being the cherry on the icing on the cake.
Amazing.
And basically the book is about those stories, stories of people that climbed a real mountain or overcame a metaphorical or a mental mountain. So that's how the book came about. It's like, come on, you've got to write all these stories and share all of this. So yeah,
That's so amazing. I love how you were inspired for your next career adventure
yes,
when you went on a holiday.
yes, yeah.
And
It was just a natural progression. It's really, yeah.
And that's so aligned with the message that we share at Desk Careers with our students, is that inspiration can come from anywhere. And that the idea of a career for life is no longer something that we do. And it's okay to change your mind every now and again. And it's okay to try new things. But definitely, you're finding that new career adventure is very aligned with career theory of the lifespan of careers and how we go through career change. So it's really, really exciting to hear the story come to life. For any student out there thinking about passionate or very passionate about sport, or taking sports sciences, or becoming a teacher, or using a hobby to be inspired in a career, what tips would you offer them if they were to do a career like this?
I think really to just take notice, be aware and present of the things that bring you joy, that give you energy, that, you jump out of bed in the morning, you think, I can't wait to do X, Y, Z, whatever that is. And that you find yourself in flow where time just passes by, because I found that in many of my sports, or many of, when I'm speaking or teaching, that time just goes by. I think, to find if there's any possibilities for volunteering, internships, to learn the ropes, to be a shadow teacher, to be a shadow guide, to learn, if you want to get into the travel, to learn a language, to, when you go on trips with your family or with friends, to really kind of do a blog or a journal, to really kind of focus on what are the skills that I would need to be able to do that. And so, what are some of the courses I can do? What are some of the experiences I need to have?
Hmm.
Because I think now we are really, I mean, the more experiences you have, the more resilient you are. And then sometimes, you know, when you're most relaxed, when you're out hiking or when you're out swimming or out just exploring a new place, then, you know, the ideas flow, you know, that this is my happy place, this is what brings me joy, this is what
Mm.
gives me so much energy. So how could I create a product or a service or an experience for people that, you know, would be a win-win-win, that I get to do it, you know, they get to experience it, and I get paid as well, because, you know, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the career, you know, it depends, you know, there's volunteering work and there's vocational work. So I think it's really just being very present and aware of, what do I love to do, what are my strengths, what are my values, who can help me, who's a model that I can say, can I come and have a coffee with you, or can I, you know, I had a couple of people that were students that were on projects that I ran as, you know, assistant guides. It was actually my stepdaughter, Mary. She came to Bhutan with me 2 years ago. She was studying uh, adventure tourism in Queenstown in New Zealand, and I said, and she had to do a project as
Hmm.
part of her like an internship project. So we worked together and we did a lovely 9-day trip to Bhutan, and I kind of gave her certain roles and responsibilities, so she really experienced what it is like, you know, when you're dealing with people from different nationalities, different ages, and you're dealing also with what can be an unpredictable or changing environment, which, you know,
Mm.
these are two big skill sets that you need to be able to manage people, but also places. Yeah.
What would you say are the transferable skills that you require for people that would join your team?
Basically, you know, it's about trust, it's about resilience, it's about decision making, teamwork, about learning. You know, actually tapping into, you know, if we go to that country or do this activity, what do we need? You know, what skill set do we need? Patience, humor, flexibility. You know, openness,
Of course.
and this flexibility. You know, because if one route is closed down, just as an example, you know, if something happens and you can't go that way, then you have to think of plan B. So I think this adaptability and agility to focus on solutions instead of going, we can't do this,
Of
or this is
course.
not working, you know, like
Of
how
course.
we are now. I mean, everybody's had to be very adaptive right now, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So I think that's a big career plus, a skill, regardless of what profession you're in, to be able to think on your feet and think, okay, this is the situation. Now, what are the solutions? You know, how can we make this work? Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And I love how you're linking this up to our current situation right now. So, in the past, when we've had spotlight speakers, one of the questions is always, how is technology going to evolve in the next 5 to 10 years? And what I'm
Yes.
loving about our digital spotlights is we're living in the future already. And we didn't have
Yes.
enough time to prepare for it. So, how has
Mm.
technology changed the work that you do in your organization? And what are some of the tips that you can offer young people that might be considering doing what you do?
Sure. Well, obviously, from the travel side now, you know, the expeditions and the retreats, they're kind of on the back burner for the time being. So then I was looking at speaking, teaching, and writing. So the speaking, really, most of the things that I was due to speak at have been postponed until next year. So what is the solution? And it's Zoom, it's Skype, it's online virtual programs. So I've teamed up with people that I've done work with in the past to offer, for example, a 6-week virtual program, Thriving Through Change, where I'm bringing in some of the topics that I speak about, like
Mhm.
resilience, signature strengths, you know, how to stay grounded when things are up in the air,
Of
basically.
course.
So it's really looking at, okay, I'm not able to do this right now. So what would be a solution? And obviously technology, you know, through online courses, Zoom, um, and helping people through this time in terms of having me-cations. You know, vacations are really a little bit off the cards at the moment, and that will change. So really looking at how can I help people personally and professionally to really stay calm, optimistic, and grounded during this time period. So it's really tapping into these technologies that allow us to do that. So we might be socially distancing right now in terms of, well, I'd like to say physical distancing, because I think it's more physical distancing.
Hmm.
We're still being social. I'm on this
Of
call with you,
course.
and that's very social.
Mm.
So I think, and it's balancing that time spent on technology and time really kind of shifting your mindset to reading great books, listening to super music, watching inspirational movies, getting creative,
Mm.
doing some of the things that you said, I don't have time to do that. I'm
Exactly.
just creating an online course based on moving mountains, and I've had it in my mind for a year, and now I have no excuses. It's just, I have the time to do this, to
Amazing.
create videos. So learning things, yeah,
So
learning and adapting.
what I'm hearing from you is this is a time of creativity, and it's a time of merging
Yes,
creativity with technology and staying
yes,
connected. And
yes,
it's I see this as a time of change, and what we know about change is it's sometimes uncomfortable, and we're all definitely
yes,
in a change that feels really uncomfortable. But what we
yep.
also know about change is there's so much growth potential, both
Oh,
on a
yes,
personal level and on a professional level. So for students considering or parents thinking about the services you provide, so I'm thinking about potentially gap year students one day, or students
yes,
considering going into the travel industry and doing something in an organization such as yours, or students considering internships, or maybe parents out there that want to have access to some of the workshops you'll be providing virtually,
yes,
is
yes.
what can they expect from an experience in your organization at Mountain High? And what can they expect from reading your book?
Fabulous question. And I think my focus really is about taking an integrated approach to personal and professional development. So it's not just being physically strong, it's also tapping into, being emotionally strong, embracing all of your emotions, and using your mental capacities to learn new skills, to be more agile and to critical thinking. So it's really the kind of perfect interlocking of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and spiritual. Because for me, spiritual means inspiratus, breathing life into something. What are my values? What is my mission? What is my purpose? What was I born to do? I always say on your birthday, the day you were born, what was I born to do? What are my
Mm.
special gifts? So I think really it's really enabling people, guiding people on their journey, because it's their journey. And really, as a guide, which I see myself, is just sharing different tools, strategies, tips, ideas, and thoughts. So it's like, yeah, that resonates, that resonates, and really creating those opportunities and experiences for people to kind of get from where they are right now to a meaningful, purposeful destination, and whether that's physically, geographically, or internally in their hearts and head.
Mm.
So it's kind of a quest, really, and it's a journey, definitely, and it's this kind of, what can I say, a boulder that's gathering momentum, and that first step is actually having a conversation with somebody, signing up for a course, signing up for an expedition, picking up a book, connecting with the author and saying, hey, this really resonated with me. Tell me more,
Mm.
and I think this time really is a time for, reflection about what's important, what's not important, to be still. And the earth is going, thank you very much, because it's breathing more easily
Of
right
course.
now,
Yeah.
in terms of climate. It's terms of connecting and collaborating, really tapping into your strengths, knowing what they are, and what are your values. What's my top value? For mine, for example, it's health. So, okay, I can't go to the gym, I'm not swimming, etc. But what could I do instead? So looking into apps and doing things, still meditating in the morning, still moving, still creating, still connecting, and still kind of, yeah, collaborating really with others around the globe. You know, it's amazing. Speaker friends now that I really never had that much time to speak because we were busy speaking and planning for speaking
Of
gigs.
course, yes.
And all of a sudden now we're having speaker circles on Zoom, and it's like, yes, yes, yes. You know, and
That's
it's
amazing.
focusing on solutions. Yeah,
Amazing,
definitely focusing on
amazing.
solutions.
So in thinking about our students and subjects that they're currently taking, if you could reflect
Yes.
back now as the owner of this organization, what kind of subjects do you believe students should be considering taking or paying more attention to if they were thinking about a career like yours?
Oh my goodness, you know something? My A levels were so diverse. I did home economics, biology, French, and home economics, biology, and French, because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I did know that I love sport. I did know that I liked languages, and I was very, very interested in the physical capabilities of how the human body worked. And I think what gave me a lot of insight in how that would play out was experiences, you know, holidays that I had with family, experiences that I had that were like little inklings of, oh, I'd like to do that, you know,
Mhm.
or books that I read or things that I saw. So I think, you know, it's for somebody to kind of do what I do, it's, you know, I guess geography would be useful, but I mean, I was never very good at geography at school. So I was just, you know, one of those, I need to experience it. I was a doer, you know, but
Mhm.
obviously having experience of geography, I think, you know, when you're dealing with people, then social intelligence, emotional
Mm.
intelligence, things like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, stress, resilience, there's some kind of what are known as soft skills, but I think they
Yes.
have a super strong impact. So basically, I think when you're dealing with people, whether you're speaking to them, teaching to them, writing to them, taking them on a treat or taking them on a, you know, a trek to Everest Base Camp or rafting down a river, it's really having social intelligence. What do they need right now? So I think this comes uh, mainly from experiences.
Yes.
Obviously, you can learn a lot, you know, the academia. And it's important to have that, you know, your
Mhm.
guiding license, for example, your wilderness first aid, for example, you know, languages so that
Mhm.
you can kind of get by as a local when you're traveling.
Of course.
And then experiences, because they're the kind of reference points, the benchmarks that I think
Amazing.
will really stand people in good stead. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And how do we find you, Julie? How can we find you? So for anyone listening out, we might have students that want to do work experience and they might be reaching out to you. We might have parents
Yes.
that want to sign up for your next talk or your next trip when the airlines open up and we're
Yes.
talking about this COVID-19 in the past tense. How can we find you on social media?
Yes. The best thing is through my website, which is just www.julie-lewis.com, and that will link you into the Mountain High website, which is now going to be upgraded and revamped because I have time to do it at last.
Excellent.
So, and that's the best way. And I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of these wonderful social media
Fabulous.
outlets and channels that we have. So I'm on the digital highway too.
Fantastic. And where can we find your book? Show us that book again. Where can we find your book?
Yes. Moving Mountains is available on Amazon. It's available in Kindle. And right now we're doing a promotion actually till the end of April. So it's just £1.99 or 2.99 euros. I'll send you the link. And obviously in the UAE, it's available in Magrudy's, WH Smith's, and Jash Mahal. Although I'm not encouraging people to go running out now because it's not really essential.
It is not. Oh, Julie, thank
um,
you, thank you,
but
thank you,
yes.
thank you so much. I think the one thing that I'm really getting from having this talk with you, and we've spoken before, is the energy that you bring to the room, and I can even
Yes.
feel it on this virtual call. And I believe that in working with people and taking women and men on these excursions, you're really tapping into some of their biggest fears of
Yes.
change and tapping into their ability to personally develop themselves. So I hope that if we do have students or parents watching this who are considering a career in owning your own business, taking a hobby and turning it into a business, and wanting to really tap into the exciting opportunities that they could find, that they'll be able to reach out to you. Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm going to say namaste. It's a non-contact greeting.
Namaste. Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
It was so great having you on the call. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, Julie.
Stay strong.